Right, I'd like to deal with the subject of Watchdog. Okay, there are many types of Watchdog out there in the world, not under the term of Watchdog, okay, as with the TV program. The government refers to some of their establishments, their regulators, as watchdogs. They couldn't watch a pan of water boiling, okay, and this is the same. It's all hype, it's all deception, and that's what I'd like to deal with today. This grinning ninny is all theatre, deception, playing with the public. And upon the surface of things, BBC Watchdog sounds perfect, absolutely perfect. So do most things in this pigging world. Until you begin to sit back and say, hang on a minute, what about this? What about that? What about this silly sod over here? Oh my goodness, what are you doing? Stop flashing. Look at this. Look at this plonker here. Look at it. Frigging all lit up. I wonder where my pigging lights went. Hey, you been down Parsons Green again with that tin of paint and lights? Hey? Pigging out. Put your pigging lights out in a minute. Hey? How are you? Stop flashing. Sorry about this, but Molly is a sausage. She's always frigging getting in on the act, aren't you? Hey? Dear me. I'll tell you what, I'll put your pigging lights out in a minute if you don't stop flashing. That's what I'll do. I'll tell you. Now, here we go. Right, that's buggered you, hasn't it? Okay, right, you go sit down there. We're dealing with Watchdog. Now then, this is a strange house, isn't it? Let's just have a look at Anne Rob Your Binson. Okay.
First, the DVLA and your names and addresses. We know it sells them to private parking companies. We know those companies then use the details to pursue drivers for charges that can be huge. We've now discovered how much the DVLA make from it all, an estimated £3.4 million in the last year. It says it has strict rules to stop your information being misused. Really? Victoria Derbyshire reports.
Aggressive clamping, extortionate ticket charges and threatening letters. The private parking sector has long had an image problem, so when Watchdog first revealed the DVLA
that's them.
was selling on your details, there was outrage, and the then Transport Minister was even forced to respond.
Some time ago I announced we were going to do a thorough review of the circumstances in which the DVLA released private information.
And the upshot of that review...
You be sod. What's wrong with all this so far?
I announced we were going to do a thorough review of the circumstances in which the DVLA released private information.
And the
They actually should not be selling on private information, because that's the word, private. Okay, so should not be available to any person other than those whom we allow it to be passed on to. What about data protection? The data protection, oh my, data protection commissioner. That waste of space. Okay, that's another watchdog. So this MP here, Ladyman, never addresses the fact, neither does Watchdog address the fact that private information is private information. It's held on trust with the DVLA and shouldn't be passed on without our consent. None of them challenge that.
Shot of that review, from 2009, companies would only be able to access your details if they agreed to abide by a strict new document.
Let me just go back one. This is what this obese, overpaid no Mark has to say.
Private information.
And the upshot of that review? From 2009, the parking sector has long had an image problem. So when Watchdog first revealed the DVLA was selling on your details, there was outrage. And the then Transport Minister was even forced to respond.
Some time ago I announced we were going to do a thorough review of the circumstances in which the DVLA released private information.
Oh, the review is a nice little circular piece of verbal diarrhea. You mean, Mr. Ladyman, you're not going to turn around and say, hang on a moment, you're selling private information to other companies. Right. Now, what are you going to do about it? I'm going to prosecute you? You buggers? No. Just smile, stuff down the next expensive meal in the expensive hotel, expensive wine, maybe a cigar, and then go up to your room and have pornography, all paid for by the taxpayer.
And the upshot of that review? From 2009, companies would only be able to access your details if they agreed to abide by a strict new document. And this is it. The BPA Approved Operator Scheme Code of Practice. 15 pages of conditions, covering everything from the design of tickets and signs to the gathering of photographic evidence and the procedures to follow when a driver appeals against a charge.
And what have you got to say about that, Mr. Watchdog? Are you going to turn around and say this is a total baloney, eh? It is simply a glossing over of the problem by issuing more regulations that never apply in the end, because they never will apply in the end. It's just all hype, a publicity stunt at the end of the day by MPs to say, look, something is being done and aren't we good people for having done this? Look at this, ladies and gentlemen, we are a caring parliament. Here it is, our safeguards towards you, and then when you come to enforce these so-called safeguards, each and every person that is involved in it says, F off, F off, F off, and you end up going to pig in court. So you do. I can tell you straight away from experience, a lot of experience, a massive experience, you always end up taking the buggers to court. Or telling them, right, you take me to court, you sod. Come on, you take me to court. I'll have you for every frigging penny you've pigging got. And they walk off.
But one of the most important sentences comes right near the start.
No.
To stay a member of the BPA, you must keep to the conditions of the code.
Oh, most important.
But how strongly is the BPA enforcing its own code? And how many BPA members are being allowed to flout some of its key rules?
No.
Appendix B 7.1.
Really?
Photographs must refer to and confirm the incident which you claim was unauthorised. A time and date stamp should be included.
Really?
In January this year, Luke Hughes got a ticket for leaving his car in his own parking bay.
The permit's got a number on it which corresponds to the number of the parking space that I park in.
I won't go on with this because it's waffle. Let's see what else we've got. Here's a goody nilly. Okay, let's go to there. Let's have a look at this one.
Fine. A clear misrepresentation of authority. Yet, according to the British Parking Association, Searchlight Security is a member of its approved operator scheme and therefore able to buy your details from the DVLA.
No, they're not. It's my private details. Nobody's allowed to release and to purchase for financial gains my personal details. Watchdog doesn't pick up on this. You see, it's just a theatre. Watchdog is a theatre, a show. And if by any chance they get a result on anything, it's by way of, by an accident, a circumstance. That's all it is.
as is Parking Eye, which, Watchdog can reveal,
Lovely.
bought more names and addresses from the DVLA than any other private parking company in 2010. Here's their sign in a Morrison's car park in North London, filmed last week. Here's their BPA-approved logo. And here they are blatantly misrepresenting their authority with the use of the word penalty. Just a day after we contacted them, by amazing coincidence, they covered it up. Incredibly, although the BPA...
See, by way of. Oh, they didn't report. Watchdog didn't report the buggers to the courts, did they? Huh?
ACE code was published in 2009. It gave companies until October 2010 to remove words like fine and penalty. Even more incredibly, it's given Parking Eye until June 2011. So the company won't be punished and can carry on buying your details from the DVLA.
Yeah, that's what the civil courts are for.
Worth the paper it's written on?
And legalese.
Well, that's a question we all want the answer to.
Really?
With me now is
Oh.
David Evans from the DVLA,
Yeah.
and from the
Okay.
British Parking Association, Patrick Troy.
Just a minute, I'll come back to this because this is very, very, very interesting. How this Anne Robinson, this Jobsworth, tackles these pair. She might as well be sitting in the middle of them. Just be a second.